Hey, welcome back. Chuck here at Amish PA. You just saw 6 little turkey poults that we bought a few weeks ago. They're growing right along like weeds, and we got to get ourselves a little shelter built for them. So I decided to go with an all-purpose A-frame shelter. Something that can work for chickens, turkeys, even small goats. Let's take a look at what I got done so far, and I'll catch you up, and then we'll get finished on this project. And you can see, here's our little A-frame structure. This is what we got done so far. I'll tell you what I've done, how I did it, and then we'll get finished. Well, all I've done here, I took 2 6-foot 2x4s, pressure treated, because the legs will be on the ground. And I decided to use, because I only wanted about 4.5 feet or so between the legs down here at the bottom. So I decided to go with a 60-degree angle up here. And I got a screw sticking out, we'll fix that later. But a 60-degree angle here. And a 30-degree angle down there. And that sits flat on the ground. And I cut 2 of those for this side. 2 more for that side. And that, I figured that 60-degree angle here would be perfect sized for this little structure. Now, this is exactly 6 feet from the tip up here down to the tip down there. So the long end here is exactly 6 feet. So I didn't waste any part of this 6-foot 2x4. Now, once you cut those 60-degree angles, you're going to put this together. And I put it together with some structural screws, 4-inch. So that 4-inch screw right here angles down into here. Okay, and I did the same thing on this side. So that's nice and tight. That's not going anywhere with structural screws. Then I went down here on this little cross piece that makes the A, and that's got 30-degree angles on each side. So it's about, I would say, 15 or 16 inches from the top. Just cut that piece and fit it in. It's going to fit right in here flush, nice and perfect. It'll be nice and level there. Do the same thing on the other one. Then once I got those 2 sides built, I put a cross piece here. Now I've got here 52 inches from here to here. And these are 60 inches. These are exactly 5-footers, 60 inches. So I got a 4-inch overhang here and a 4-inch overhang here. Okay. And I cut 1, 2, 3 of those for this side, 3 for that side. So you need 6 of those. Then down here, because this bottom is going to be fenced in with some fencing, 2-inch by 4-inch fencing. And do the same thing on this other side over here. I've got some 36-inch wide roofing panels right here. And they're going on horizontally instead of vertically. And I got those, remember we said this was 60 inches across here? I have those 62, so they're going to extend past here 1 inch and down that end 1 inch. And they're going to sit this way. Okay. And from up here to here is 33 inches. So that panel is going to extend down here 3 inches past this bottom. That makes sense so far? So we got 1, 2, 3 of those. The roofing panel is going to sit this way, going this way. It's going to extend down here 3 inches past this 33-inch bottom. And that's going to be a roof. Right. Now we're going to leave the sides open. That side and that side. I'm going to close in the back. Right. The back side will be closed in with some boards. I'll put this end towards the west where the rain usually comes from. But right now, we have to cut 2 more of these pieces here to hold our fencing. Now we got this piece here. I'm going to put another piece up here, across here, and I'm going to put a pressure treated one on the bottom. And that's going to give me a nice surface to staple my fence on. Okay. And I use 2x3s up here. And that's a 2x3 here. But these are going to be 2x4s ripped down. If you didn't get it written down before, 6 foot 2x4 pressure treated. From the tip up here, you're going to measure off 60 degrees. Cut that. From the tip down there, you're going to measure 30 degrees. Cut that one. And I can show you what that, see the bottom there on the angle? That sits flat. And that gives you the option. You can widen this out if you want to go up here. You want to go 55 degrees. It'll widen your base out. You could go 50 degrees, widen it even farther. So if you don't know how these angles work, I use 60 degrees here. That angle plus that angle have to sum up to 90 degrees. So if you did this one 50, you'd make that one 40. If you made this one 70, that would make this even taller. Push in the sides. It would make it steeper. So if you made this 70, you'd have to make this one, that's right, 20 degrees. Very flexible in how you can build this. One other thing before we start ripping these boards down is I wouldn't go too much longer than 4 feet between these A-frames. So if you wanted to make this longer, I would probably space these maybe like 4 feet apart. So you can make this thing, you know, bring it out here, be almost 9 feet long if you want another 4 feet. So I need a 49.5. So I'm going to cut them to length first, then we'll rip them down. So you can see there's that first one I put on there, and here's my bottom one down here. It's just up off the ground about 1.5 inches. All right, we got both sides done. Got my fencing out here. It's just a 2 inch by 4 inch galvanized 4 foot tall fencing. So I just gotta take my measurement from here to here and from there to there, and we'll put that in. Let's see how these Knipex do. Like cutting butter. I'm just using some 1 inch by 1/4 inch crown staples. We're going to staple that right on here. Come back down here now, we'll run this right along this edge. They're vocal little critters. Can you hear them? Look at that, they already want to be in their house. I think you get the idea of what's going on here. I'm just going to go ahead and staple the rest of this on. Then I'll be back with you when I got this side stapled and the other side on. And we'll go ahead, we'll work on our roof up here. We have the fence on both sides, our netting. Now what I'm going to do now, we're going to put a piece of that fencing right up here in this small little part of the A. And this was just a piece that was left over from the fence. I'm going to place it in here like this. We'll center it where it belongs, right about there. I'll staple that right in, fold these tops over, and we'll staple these loose pieces here down here like this. So you can see how I just stapled that little scrap piece on here. Okay. So let me go ahead and put the top piece here. That's just to help hold my metal roofing up while I'm installing it. Going to be using some 1.5" black roofing nails. This is looking right down the ridge right here. I'm going to go ahead and put the other panel on now, then I'll come back with you when we're ready to put the ridge cap on. All right, see you in a bit. What I have for the ridge cap is a piece of metal gable trim. Looks like that right there. And I'll just cut that to 5 feet 3 inches, giving you a little overhang on each side. Now we're going ahead and we're going to start putting some of the back on. And for the back here, we're going to be using some shiplap that I had left over from a project. Okay, we got our first board cut here. And there were 30-degree angles. Well, we're almost done. These guys can't wait. Last thing we gotta do is build a door here. First thing I want to do here building a door is put a top frame member in right there. I'm putting a backer board back here, give that a little bit more support. There, that's not going anywhere. So that's going to be the top frame of the door. That's going to hold the hinges. All right, down here I'm going to measure up. I'm going to have my bottom of the door 2 inches off the ground. This is just a little shelf to rest my bottom piece of my door on. I just screwed on 2 temporary supports at the bottom of the legs. Now I'm going to rest that there like that. And then we'll mark that from the other side. So you can see now I just have to cut these out. Okay, we cut our ends. Well, that's going to sit on there just like that. Now we'll mark a piece for the top. So now we got the top, we got the bottom. Now we just have to cut our angles on our side pieces. Coming this way to make the frame for the door. What I've done here is just put a couple of extensions on my pieces. So this is going to go up here like this. And I'll bring that down so I have approximately a 1/4 inch on each side. Tack it here. That looks good there. Tack that one. Okay, we'll tack it over here. Now what I need to do here is I need to measure down here and make a mark over here on this side also. Then we can put that one right where it belongs. Now I just need to get some other short pieces here for the left side and the right side and put the angles on those, and I'll take this back apart here. Then we'll put that together on a flat surface. Okay, I measured this 35.5, but I cut this 36.25 because I didn't want to cut it short. And it's just a little bit too long. Hey, see how we got now? Oh, that looks good right there. All I need to do now is attach these together. As you can see, the sun is setting. So it's time for me to take these little baby chicks and get them back in their house. Come on, chickies. Beep, 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 beep. Come on, peeps. Come on, peeps. Come on, peeps. Whoa. Come on, peeps. In your house. Let's go. In your house. Let's go. In your house. Come on, all of you. Come on. There you go. Good peeps. We'll see you in the morning, peeps. I'm just going to pre-drill the corners here. Then we're going to put in 3-inch deck screws. Hi, peeps. Okay, let's go check the fit in the opening. Yeah, I think this is going to work pretty good. Let's go put some gussets in the corners. We'll put them on the back side. And we'll put our fencing on the front side. All right, I just got a piece of plywood. I'm going to trace it the way you see it there. Then we'll cut that out. That'll support the top. Then I'll cut some smaller pieces out for each corner here on the bottom. We got our gussets on. Now it's time to flip this over and put our fencing on. Before we go ahead and put our fencing on, I'm gonna go ahead and put another cross brace in here. Okay, we got our cross brace cut here. Again, 30-degree angles. Notice everything on this coop is 30 and 60. So if you were gonna do on 70 and 20, everything would be 70 and 20. You know, if you made your A-frame 70 degrees with 20 on the bottom. Because I will be trimming this fencing material along that angle here, I got to make sure all my parts that are close to the edges are stapled near the edges. You can really see my shop needs some post-winter cleanup. Everything just starts stuck in here during the winter. But I gotta find some hinges here. And I think I see some butt hinges right there. I think they'll work just fine. I'm gonna swap out the screws that came with those hinges. They're only 1/2 inch or maybe 5/8 inch. So we're gonna swap those out and use some 1 1/4 decking screws. All right, I tipped our little A-frame animal shelter onto its side. Now I'm going to put some support blocks up there so I can just rest my door in the opening, then attach my hinges. Okay, got the door centered into the opening. Looks pretty good. I just gotta go put my screws in up there. They're ready for their new digs. Well, let's check it out. Well, I think that door's gonna be just dandy here. Gotta put a couple good stops in instead of those pieces that I use for just to place it in to get it screwed in. And this is still up off the ground a few inches. I had those blocks in there from before, remember? But I think she looks pretty nice. Again, this would be really easy to extend. You could make it 8 feet long, 9 feet long, put another A-frame in the middle. You could make it wider at the bottom by decreasing your angle up here in your A-frame right here. Remember, this was 60 degrees. You make it 55, it'll make it wider at the bottom. 50 degrees will make it even wider. So I think that looks pretty nice. And I'm leaving this open because these are heritage breed turkeys. And they sometimes don't like to be cooped up real tight. They like to be able to look around just like they were in the wild. So these are a mixed breed heritage. So that's why it was done this way. Roosting, come right through here, right to the other side with some poles. You could rest those poles anywhere you wanted to on these. Hope you saw something that you liked. Hope you saw something that gave you ideas to build something of your own. I wanted to show something that was flexible. You know, you could expand it, you know, make it suit your needs. Thanks for coming along. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.